Alright, I am back with another Destiny 2 video after my power washing vacation. I knew that would not land with some people, but I don't know. I thought it was funny. um, we are in an Iron Banner week because there's really nothing else going on until next week, which is going to be Solstice of Heroes, which I have to stop calling it that because it's just Solstice now. But this is the second Iron Banner week. There was not a makeup Iron Banner week despite all the issues the first one had because they did double reputation for like part of that week. And they think that was enough. So now everyone is trying to finish off their Iron Lord title if they haven't already, which includes doing things like completing objectives in Rift for that one Wings something triumph where you have to like actually run the Rift and like barely anything counts for that. So it's a little hard to get. An interesting thing was that Bungie will like put like 3 paragraphs about like some bug that like 10 people have or something in the TWAB, but then they won't mention something like, hey, we listened to your feedback and we put in an Iron Banner mercy rule for Rift. Like, that was a freebie. We would have really celebrated that if you told us. And now we're just celebrating that, finding it out in the wild here. I don't know why that wasn't in the TWAB. You can now, so pretty much if you're down by 3 now in a game of Rift, you will be mercied, whether that's 3-0 or 4-1. That is a great change. It makes these games much less of a slog, which was easily the biggest problem with Iron Banner Rift before. My problem with Iron Banner is like even they did the grand rework this season. It was just such odd timing because this, all the new stuff that came was for trials. Really, we had 3 new trials armor sets. We have a new trials sidearm, new trials fusion rifle, but Iron Banner got the rework, like the actual vendor rework and focusing, and it only got 2 reprised weapons, the Wise and Rebuke and Hero's Path, whatever the SMG is called, I can't remember, which are very much not best in slot fusion rifles or SMGs. I know, Forward past the AR. Hero's Burden, that's it? Yeah, okay. Hero's Burden. I know that can be good with certain perks, but like nothing is going to outclass Shuria's, but I just don't really... My biggest problem with Iron Banner right now is I don't see a reason to go for anything, really, other than the title. So you can't craft any Iron Banner weapons, which is fine, but that means there's not like, I'm not going for red frames of Iron Banner weapons in order to be able to craft them, which that would be, its own form of grind. I'm going to go ahead and say not to do that because I'm not a fan of advocating for more crafting in the game. I think we should have probably less crafting. So I am okay keeping with that. I'm just saying it's not something to really pursue. The armor pursuit is, the set has been around for a while already, so getting armor is not really a thing. You have the chance to get enhancement prisms that they added a while back, but besides that, it just like it's not really a motivating factor. You can get high stat focused armor from this season or last season's activities and using the ghost mods and stuff. So like, it just isn't really a farm for that in any meaningful capacity either, I don't think. And one thing that I would like to see in terms of kind of motivation to get armor is, I said this before the season launched, that I want them to bring back the freaking ornaments from year 1. I think there are 2 sets of ornaments, if I'm recalling that. Maybe there's 3 total, but like back when Destiny 2 launched, I was like even less of a PvP player than I am now, so I was really not playing Iron Banner, so I missed the chance to get to grind out those Iron Banner ornaments. Those have never returned to the game, and some of them are really, really good in this age of transmog even, because, before they could only be applied to Iron Banner stuff, but now you can apply them to anything, and I would absolutely either complete challenges to unlock the different pieces of those or put them in the 1 to 15 ranking system, because like once you get past the first stage of unlocks, it just kind of does what all the other ones do, where it just gives you some upgrade modules and like maybe a weapon or something. There's just not very much in there, so I would love for them to put those ornament sets in there somewhere, or either as a challenge or as something to actually go for. I am also just not very excited by most Iron Banner loot lately. I feel like the best Iron Banner thing I care about is Peace Bond, the sidearm, just a really good sidearm for both PvP and PvE. I do have enough copies of that where I'm not really looking for one anymore, but it just doesn't seem like there are all that many really good Iron Banner weapons. They're just not very meta. Frontier's Cry seems like it could be one of the best 180s going forward after the buffs happen, where they are finally giving kind of 180s their due. I hate the way that thing looks. That's like the ugliest gun in the game almost to me. And it feels really weird to shoot, but I get that it is like good stats and good perks and stuff. One issue is like, I find all of the iron perks very boring, like Iron Reach, Iron Grip, whatever, whatever. I get that they're kind of mostly focused on PvP stuff, but I just don't find them interesting in any way, and so that's not really motivation for me to go for them. When it comes to PvP weapon pursuits, I like stuff that can at least be used in PvE to some meaningful extent as well, and a lot of Trials weapons have that ability, are good in both modes. The Linear Fusion's one of the best DPS in the game. The new sidearm, I have a demo Adrenaline Junkie one that's awesome. And then like the Crucible Playlist Fusion Rifle that's dropping now, whatever the Stasis one's called, is like one of the best. I mean, there's only a couple fusions in that slot, but it's definitely one of the best ones. So going for that is kind of a lot of fun. But like the Iron Banner weapons, they don't do that. They don't really line up there other than very, very rare occasions if you're doing a stasis build with your Peace Bond sidearm or whatever. At least not with the current slate of weapons we have. The solution to this, part of this I think is due to the recent addition of origin traits, where, for instance, the Trials origin trait is very useful because it just gives you a bunch of stats and bonuses when you're playing solo, as in just you're not in a fire team, which is very often that is the case, especially in PvE if you're running harder story content or soloing a dungeon or something. That is very useful in PvE, but it also has to do with Trials. If you're the last living member of your fire team, you get those bonuses, so it works both ways. The Iron Banner thing, which gives you this invisibility off radar thing on kill during the hunt or during when you have the Rift Spark, is like, it's so situational. It is. I think it's. I ranked these at one point. I think the Gambit Invader Tracker is the worst because it, first of all, how often is an invader even in Gambit? Well, these days it's like a couple times a game. And when you're killing an invader, you're probably just one-shotting it with a rocket or something, so you don't need an invader tracker. Here, the Iron Banner one, again, is very situational. It is one mode that is up for 2 weeks a season, and the perk is only active for very certain situations within that mode. Not good. We need a better origin trait than that, and that is something I am hoping to see kind of addressed in the future, because while Iron Banner is more accessible than Trials at baseline, the loot is like much, much worse, and much worse than, I would argue, many, many things in the game. And like, just, we do have focusing now, which is better. It used to not just have like the worst loot, it was also the worst loot and the worst farming system in the game. So if there was something you wanted, it was almost impossible to find it because it was just pure RNG of spamming engrams and getting one drop after every 8 matches or something. So at least there's focusing now. Expensive focusing, but it exists. I'm just hoping to see kind of more different things from Iron Banner that are not so specific to Iron Banner or specific to PvP, because we don't see that really elsewhere, where obviously a ton of PvE content stuff is useful in PvP, but Iron Banner just seems so hyper-focused on making things for PvP, and yet the vast majority of Iron Banner loot is not even best in slot for a lot of PvP things, with very few exceptions. So I don't know. We'll see if they ever, because they just did a big rework, I doubt we're going to see anything anytime soon. Should be due for a new Iron Banner armor set. Maybe not next season, maybe the season after. I can't remember exactly how long it's been, but that'll be just sort of a cosmetic thing, which is fine. But I want those ornaments back. I'm very serious about that. I wish those. It has been 3 years since we've seen those. I don't really understand why they can't bring those back as a potential reward for people who missed it. So anyway, those are just kind of my thoughts on Iron Banner more generally, not in terms of like, I thought about making a PvP meta video and just like my very amateur take on like what everyone is debating right now about the PvP meta, and like I can't. I don't even know where to start, because the general idea is that we are just always in one of these debates, and it is never ever going to be balanced, and like That's just kind of the nature of the game, but these debates are going to happen forever. One thing, I don't know if I'll make a whole video about this, but like one thing that I wish Bungie would do more often is just have a kill switch button on like certain things for PvP. Like, don't try to balance things around PvP. Just Classy Restoration should not exist in PvP. Just hit a kill switch button. Can't use that mod in PvP. Sorry, the end. We would have avoided an entire season of just ridiculous healing metas, like at least most of it. So that is a switch I wish they would pull more often, especially when it comes to seasonal mods that are only going to be around for 3 months anyway. I just don't really see the harm in something like that. So anyway, that was obviously not a whole video, but I wanted to touch on that. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will talk to you later. Take care.